racism. I want to go back to the Madison Square Garden thing because it was bad. So this guy, his name's Tony Hinchcliffe, is a comedian, opened at the rally. He was the big headline story because his whole comedy routine was full-on racist against Hispanics, Latinos, black people. And we're going to watch a couple of clips about it because that's their closing argument. We hate brown people.
All right.
Keep them out of the country.
Y'all might want to take a Valium before this one if you haven't already watched it on YouTube somewhere, because it's a lot.
Yeah,
okay? It's a lot.
Now's the time for tequila shots. So here it comes. This is Tony
Whatever
Hinchcliffe.
you need to do.
Wild to see, and in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people. I host a show, and each week I get updates what words we're allowed to use and not use anymore. It's happening right now the past few years. It's a real thing. And, you know.
So, what happened is this. The night before he went up, he went down to Manhattan, and like any comedian, he tested this at a comedy club in Manhattan. And it went up like a lead balloon, man. And he kept telling him, well, I'm doing this at Madison Square Garden. It'll go better tomorrow when I'm with the racist crowd. But even then, it didn't go that great. Because the point is, Tony, you're saying the quiet part out loud. Right? The whole premise to this, the whole premise behind Ben Shapiro, all these guys on the right wing, Joe Rogan, all these racist, sexist, homophobic guys, is we have to make it okay for those racist, sexist, homophobic, your average suburbanite, white guy Republican, white woman Republican, that doesn't want to be thought of that way and doesn't think of themselves that way, but kind of is.
We need to make it socially acceptable to be racist,
right,
sexist, homophobic, all of the whatever.
Right.
We have to make it all socially acceptable.
Right, because
that only works if it stays in parentheses. You gotta keep it in the parentheses.
Right, so you can't jump and say it out loud. So Tony Hinchcliffe did that. I'm gonna watch one or two more clips from him because this whole thing was just terrible.
It's super weird because it's literally like it's like he doesn't realize he's calling themselves out. Like
Yeah.
It's like I'm calling myself out and I don't even know it.
Well, it's
It's super weird.
so it's the two parts to this whole system with them, with that party, which is you have the Trump guys, the fairly open racists, right? They don't do it publicly because they don't want to, they don't want all the negative press from it. But these guys in their back rooms, they're dropping the N-word all the time. I mean, Joe Rogan's dropped the N-word a bunch of times, and I keep bringing up Rogan for a reason. We'll circle back to it in a second, but these guys, I mean, they do it in their private rooms, right? But they also, there's that guy that votes against immigrants. He votes against programs that'll help poor people because he thinks, too many black people are taking them, right? That guy who says, well, look, I'm a decent guy, or, I do vote for civil rights and stuff, but man, if his son or daughter came home with a black boyfriend or girlfriend, he would lose his shit. That guy. That's the guy they're playing to. The guy who doesn't think of himself as racist, kind of is. You're trying to give him a permission structure. You don't give him a permission structure if you just start saying racist shit. Because then he's going to, I don't want to be associated with that.
He can't sign on for that.
Right.
He can sign on for a lot of shit in parentheses, but he can't sign on for like that.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's what Tony doesn't get.
Yeah.
Because he's in that bubble so far.
All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys are... This is a groany little morning
Not
crowd.
the watermelon thing.
Yeah. Well, and the crowd groaned. Because you're not supposed to say this out loud, fucktard. He didn't get it. Now, I'm going to play one more clip and then we'll get into this a little bit deeper. But this is craziness. So he's tested this, it road tested, and it went bad in Manhattan, it went bad on this. Here's the last little bit. I'm going to play this here. Here's a clip because, you know, it all works out if you make fun of white people, too. If you make fun of your own race and make fun of the other races, that's okay, right? Because it's all in good fun, right? But you got to do that. So here's the clip of him making fun of white people. Oh, wait, there's no clip of him making fun of white people. He doesn't do that. He only punches down. Want to see a clip of him making fun of Asian people? Nope, he doesn't do that. Because they're the good minority. They're good at math.
You know what this makes me think of? It makes me think of why South Park is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know,
They hit
the
everybody.
creator kind of go for everybody. And so
They even make fun of themselves.
it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to appear that they have a leaning in any particular direction or another because everybody's fair game.
Right.
And that's not what we're seeing here, you know?
No. He's picking very specific groups of people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So one last clip, then we'll get into his whole story and how he screwed this. He might have actually tanked this election for Trump.
These wars. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're having fun now. We're cooking.
All right, so Muslims and Jews. There we go. That's how we're going to close this. His big one,
Wow.
and I didn't play it on this because you've probably seen it a million times, was he said the joke about there's a garbage island in the Atlantic, and then he said, yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico. Now, here's the thing about that statement. So he's trashing Puerto Ricans. Puerto Rico is a part of America, for those of you who don't know. We've talked about it. We've asked, like, well, why is Puerto Rico not a state? Right? So we've asked that question a bunch of times. But a lot of Puerto Ricans live in Pennsylvania and Michigan, and those are swing states. And a lot of those Puerto Ricans have flipped their vote to Harris from Trump because they were not happy about this. And why is this even worse? Because this guy, Tony Hinchcliffe, he gave this speech. It's on a teleprompter. He's reading this off the teleprompter. He gave it to Trump's campaign. And Trump's campaign went through it, and they cut one joke where he called Kamala Harris a cunt. They were like, whoa, you can't do that. That's too far.
But all this other
Shit's
game,
fine. Here's the other thing about Tony Hinchcliffe. Because I didn't know who he was. I bet most of you didn't know who he was until this whole thing. Well, here he is. This is Sam Cedar on the Majority Report. Sam Cedar and Emma Vigilant, they uncovered this. Where did this Tony Hinchcliffe come from? How did he get recommended to the Trump campaign? Who is this guy? I guess he does roasts and some comedy stuff. But they found him. And they figured it out. So here's Sam and Emma telling you the
Jr.
truth.
And they're like, who should we get? This is what we speculated yesterday. And then this gets dug up from, I guess, over the summer. mid-August. It's only about a month and a half ago.
Episode 2188.
With Adam Ray. And this is not direct proof that this was a Joe Rogan special, but
Trump is looking at, like, you know, to make a little put down, or he's just quick in that way.
Listen,
So
he is quick in that way. Also, it would behoove him to hire a few great comics to just tour with him and just write one-liners about all these different fucking people.
I mean,
if he could remember them, I mean, I know he likes to go off his own head, but
Sure.
if he could remember a few Hinchcliffe bangers, if he hires Hinchcliffe to take him on the road, do you know how fucking insane that would be?
yeah, dude.
So Hinchcliffe is a friend of Joe Rogan's. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast a bunch of times. That wasn't him. They were talking about him. That's how I got him. Rogan recommended that guy. And he's super racist. If you see his other roasting comedy stuff, he is ultra racist. It's only funny if you're a racist. So the rest of it's like, what the fuck did this guy just say? And it's even for racists, it's not funny. They just agree. They just like to be reinforced. Right? But yeah. So
Yeah.
So Joe Rogan, who's a racist, and a sexist, and a homophobe, picks his racist, sexist, homophobe buddy comedian that he likes, recommends him to Trump to do this opening. The Trump campaign goes through the guy's routine. I'm sure what their thought is, oh, he'll tell these sort of off-color racist jokes, and the left will freak out, and then we'll say, oh, they're just trying to suppress our speech, and we'll do our normal spiel, and they're just uptight. Oh. Uh-oh. You there, Lace? Oh, sorry, we had a technical thing. You there? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you froze up on me.
Yeah, it had to reconnect. So, the campaign there, I'm sure, just had a deal where it's like, okay, well, that's probably not going to be a big deal. And then he gets up in there and he says the Puerto Rico thing, which they approved, where he called Puerto Rican Garbage Island, right? And now all the Puerto Ricans, who are the swing voters in Pennsylvania, are all saying, screw it, we're voting for Harris. Fuck the Republicans. They think we're garbage?
Again, I'm going to loop back to the same point, and I feel like somehow Trump's entire campaign failed to realize this, and the comedian himself. There is a distinct difference. I mean, in comedy, you know, people roast people, go after people, different groups of people, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But the successful comedians that keep people kind of laughing are the ones that are going after everybody in a relatively balanced sense.
Right.
Because then nobody actually typically walks away feeling like super like they were attacked, because like you look around and you go, oh yeah, you know what, if you watch enough episodes of South Park, they're going to hit everybody. You
Right.
know, that kind of thing. As opposed to if you only hit certain groups over and over again, that's something else.
Right.
That's not comedy. That's something else.
Right.
You know?
Well, what was it George Carlin used to say? It's always funny when you punch up. It's not ever funny when you punch down. And like Lacey's saying, you can punch down a little bit, but you got to also punch yourself and punch everybody else. You got to hit.
You got to be punching everybody.
Right. Then
Like, I feel like it's the only way is punching everybody.
right. Then it's just I'm just doing it to be funny. I'm not serious. I don't actually believe this.
Right,
I'm just-
right, because you can't really take somebody serious who's like actually punching everybody. Like,
Yeah.
you can't really think this about every single person, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But that's just craziness.